So, I have returned once again today to deliver another chapter of Juuni Taisen, the Zodiac War, the manga series. And we are delivering, actually I'm delivering today, chapter 8. So yeah, we left off... My voice kicked in. My voice. Sometimes that spooks me, other times it doesn't. I don't know why. Because you just sometimes don't expect it when you're speaking. You're like, oh my god, there's my voice. But this time, I was okay. So yeah, we left off last time. It was very much kind of dealing with Monkey's character and actually what's really going on with her and her own philosophy and what she believes in. Actually kind of did delve quite a bit into it. Actually quite liked how they actually handled that chapter because it's quite a lot to take in, but actually did it pretty freaking damn well. And I believe this chapter might in theory kind of deal with the impending fight between her and Rabbit. And as we know what happens in the anime, she does not end up kind of surviving very much. Like, hopefully the actual kind of manga gives her a better send-off, because the anime was actually kind of lackluster. It was kind of like, oh. You're sitting there like, oh. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, like, oh. That was kind of disappointing. So hopefully the actual manga does in theory kind of improve upon what's actually already established. Actually in theory kind of gives us a better chapter overall, maybe, because I don't think they probably will deal with the whole entire thing this chapter. It might just be the start of it. It won't be the whole entire thing, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in Juuni Taisen chapter 8. So, let's begin. So, 1 hour has passed since the Zodiac War began, and already 4 fighters are dead. Of the 8 who remain, 1 is far and away the most dangerous. Oh, I wonder who he's talking about. So, chapter 8, Rat, Rabbit, Snake, Monkey. He is Usagi, the fight of the rabbit, an necromanticist with the ability to control those he kills. Juuni Taisen, the Zodiac War. Chapter 8, Rat, Rabbit, Snake, Monkey. So, as I remember correctly, we never actually got to see exclusively the birds outside of the tunnel. We only got to see them inside the tunnel, so it's actually kind of neat to actually see the birds outside the tunnel with this dude as well. I actually kind of like this dude. He doesn't do too much, but I actually kind of like his presence there. I think he's actually kind of a neat character just to have there, because he's basically us at this point. So for that reason, I actually kind of like him. That's why I kind of was a bit disappointed that actually he wasn't in anything else besides the manga. But anyway, I guess it's all right to actually differentiate themselves between each adaptation. It's basically its own thing. But anyway, so maybe I went too far. Was I too hard on him? You don't have what it takes to fight. Don't underestimate my hollow words, boy. That just shows how much I've yet to learn. The question now is what to do next. I need to think this through to my best of my experience. Best of my inexperience. If I'm to believe what Chicken said, this war has already claimed 3 victims, and Rat says Chicken has lost her life too. I'm surprised that so many fighters are so actively engaged in killing. Everyone here has what it takes to fulfill most any wish through their own efforts, rather than staking everything on this fight to the death. I have to decide if I should wait a little longer for the right chance, or go above ground now. It's not an easy choice, but what's that? Nezumi-kun, wake up! 5 more minutes. Ow! What the heck? I thought you were against violence. Wait, what's that noise? It sounds like a helicopter or something. There couldn't be a helicopter down here. But it does sound like something's coming through the air. Yeah. Whatever it is, there's more than one. I mean, wasn't there a scene in Mission Impossible 1 with a helicopter going through a tunnel? So, I mean, it's possible. It's possible at this point. I swear it's Mission Impossible 1 is the helicopter scene. It's on the train. Am I mistaking a different Tom Cruise film? I actually can't remember now. I think it is Mission Impossible 1. With the helicopter scene. Uh-oh, it's the birds. It's actually a pretty freaking cool panel, actually. I actually quite like that panel, because it kind of gives you a bit more of an idea of what they look like and what's actually really happened to them, because, I mean, the anime did in theory show it a little bit, but it was actually kind of one of those things that I think the manga kind of fleshes out a lot more of what's actually present in the anime. The anime's only got 12 episodes to do everything, so it's got a short time, but this one's kind of got a little bit more time, so it actually allows to flesh out certain aspects. Birds! A giant flock of birds! A giant flock of dead birds! The necromanticist. A necromanticist. It's a word that always gets me. A necromanticist. Has he no respect for the dead animals? Has he no regard for the sanctity of life? This is bad, Shariu. There's too many of them. Even if we don't get killed, if we try to fight this many small animals in a filthy place like this, we'll have a very high chance of getting a tetanus infection. What should we do? We're running. Okay. I see. I think they are starting to fight today. I think they actually are. So they actually are starting to fight. Ayo, the fight's starting. Well, I'm glad in the manga form we actually still got waifus. In the anime, we've got one left. So we're pretty much waifuless at this point in the anime. But at least we got waifus in this one. You know, we still got the best waifu alive, but still, it's just like, man, we're waifuless at this point. Oh yeah, man's got no head, has he? Man's lost his head. Snake's corpse. Oh wow, my throat just died during that sentence. Snake's corpse. There we are. How one of those moments that your throat kind of dries out, it's like it affects your whole entire vocal cords. It's just so horrible. There we are. So Snake's corpse. Izumi-kun, are you alright? Yeah, but that sword. Uh-oh. I'm Usagi, the fight of the rabbit. I killed distinction. Rabbit! I can't believe it. The birds killed by Boar's walking corpse fell under the necromanticist's control too. Found them. I'm the fight of the monkey. I kill in peace. Shari. I'm the fight of the rat. I kill inexorably. Nezumi. There we are. That's my throat. There's my throat going. There we are. There's my throat officially dying. The first tag team battle, if that's what you can call it. Now, how will it end? Dun dun, freaking done. And that is the end of the chapter. Very short this week actually. It felt a lot shorter just because of the fact it was literally just it was less exposition and kind of a lot more just what's the word? Kind of action in a way. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see kind of how this actual fight will play out, because we know the events in the actual anime. The anime kind of already exclusively showed how it all ends. So the major thing is now, how would the actual kind of manga deviate from the actual anime, because the manga has done certain things a little bit differently than the actual anime. So it might be kind of cool to see what actually happens here, because again, as I said beforehand during the beginning of the stream, is the fact that actually in theory the fight itself was kind of disappointing because it kind of ended so soon. But I get what they were trying to do. I get the actual meaning behind what they're trying to do there, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I want to see whether or not they actually kind of, in theory, just flesh out this fight a little bit more, because there's a lot going on in this fight, especially also you have Sheep's backstory as well, you also have the whole entire thing with Ox, and also Horse as well, going on. So there's a lot going on in this whole entire fight. It can become cluttered, so hopefully actually in theory don't screw it up a little bit, because this one actually is kind of one of the more, I would say, kind of meaty sections of the anime. So yeah. I mean, the one thing to note is the fact that actually now is Shari's character is interesting as well. That's the one thing I kind of want to get at. She's an interesting character for the sole reason you just don't really know what's really exclusively going on with her, because, again, it was one of those theories on the internet. The fact is that maybe she's actually got a lot more going on that we actually don't aptly know. Because, again, it's one of those things that her character is exclusively kind of very... She seems as if she's kind of not shrouded in mystery, but at the same time she kind of is. Because, I mean, we've got everything we need to know about her so far. I mean, the chapter really kind of exclusively just tells you a lot more about her and how she actually works. But still, I think in the anime she was cut off way too soon to actually kind of allow her to kind of feel a little bit more fleshed out. But... I don't know, here it actually might in theory show a little bit more because, again, she has a lot more kind of prowess about her than it's actually aptly led on to believe, and in theory actually probably does in theory have something going on behind closed doors that we're getting, but again, it's not really kind of exclusively showing us because, alas, it's a Battle Royale show, so it's not kind of meant to kind of tell you a lot more about the characters, because you know they're gonna die. But yeah, I mean... Also, kind of the fact is the actual manga's fleshing out certain things, like in essence, a lot more to do with the actual kind of. It's not actually in the way of a lot more, but you'll just see a little bit more of the birds themselves. The birds themselves are actually kind of an interesting aspect because you didn't really know they were going to come back, but they did. It's actually kind of an interesting kind of concept. The idea, that kind of power that he has, is actually kind of an interesting thing because it kind of, in theory, lends itself to actually kind of show you that actually not Nezumi. Rabbit, Usagi, actually is the most powerful person there. Like, he actually kind of is. Like, Ox is kind of touted to be the best one there, but I kind of think Rabbit might be in theory the best one there, per se. Because he's an interesting kind of character, because Ox is kind of shown to be the kind of strongest. He's always kind of shown to be this kind of character that you can't really predict what's going to happen next. The same thing that happens with Usagi as well. Usagi's kind of very much the same. You just don't really know. You're kind of like, okay, so what's he going to do next? Because you didn't really expect in the anime to him to kind of just stab her twice in the chest and then kill Monkey. You're like, oh, alright. So it was interesting in that regard. You just don't know. So the other thing to note is the fact that I kind of believe that Nezumi might survive to the end. I don't know, because it's kind of... They're planting red herrings, if you get what I mean. The actual anime itself and the manga's doing it as well. The manga's kind of planting these red herrings of who's going to survive and who's actually going to be the best one there. Because the anime did go with the whole entire idea. The last three standing would be Usagi, I think it was Usagi, Ox, and Monkey would be the last ones to survive. But I don't know. Nezumi is kind of one of those characters, again, you just can't predict. Because he does seem as if he's got nothing going on. He's kind of very empty-minded in certain aspects. But that doesn't actually kind of excuse the fact that certainly there's something going on with him that we don't know. Like, there's certainly something going on. Like, why is he sleeps way too much. All those kind of things. It kind of just touts him to be this lazy person, doesn't really want to fight at all. But actually, in theory, it's just something going on there. But yeah, I actually kind of like the fact that Monkey still kind of believes in the whole entire notion that she has. I like that about her because, again, when everything's kind of going against her, she kind of still in theory believes by it, which actually is kind of like an admirable thing. I mean, yeah, it kind of delves into the whole entire idea of the talk no jutsu kind of aspect of her character, but at the same time, it's kind of like you admire her character a bit because it's kind of like she's not ever going to go back from her own kind of philosophy. She believes in it, she kind of wants to abide by it. It's actually kind of an admirable thing to the very end. I actually kind of liked it about her character. Even still, she's like, these people can in theory, like, kind of fulfill their dreams instead of just actually staking their lives out to actually kind of fight here. It's kind of an interesting aspect. Like, she kind of does believe the fact that these characters in theory can fulfill their dreams, but at the same time, it's like, it kind of shows you that these kind of philosophies, I think, can't actually coexist in a world like this in some aspects. I don't know, because she's kind of the character that sticks out like a sore thumb in some aspects when you think about it, because she's there, and she's kind of like, I want to be a pacifist, I won't fight, I won't kill anyone. But I believe that philosophy can't actually live in a society like that, because the people are so kind of dead set on kind of just murdering each other. It kind of just destroys her whole entire notion. I mean, people might in theory kind of want to go abide by it, but at the same time, it's like there's certainly some aspects of people that are kind of like, no, well, that won't work in this society, that won't work in this context. It's actually kind of an interesting aspect. I actually kind of like her character for that reason, because she's kind of the missing link, but at the same time, she kind of just breathes a new, fresh air into this actual kind of stagnated Battle Royale kind of aspect, because you do get as pacifists in Battle Royales, but it always kind of are presented to be these kind of cliche characters. I won't fight, I won't fight, I won't fight. They've always got a backstory to why they won't fight. But here, she's got a genuine reason why she doesn't want to fight. She's actually got a genuine reason why in the past, her idea of not fighting has succeeded. I actually kind of liked that about her character. That's why I was kind of disappointed in the anime she was killed so soon, because she was a very, very, very interesting character for the sole reason she was a missing link, but at the same time she breathed the fresh air into this animated genre, and she can actually just elevate it beyond where it was beforehand. But alas, that's what happens when you follow an ECO. But anyway, yeah. So all in all, it's one of those chapters that actually kind of sets up for the actual kind of fight itself more than anything. It wasn't anything more than that. But in a certain aspect, it kind of just brings to the forefront, certainly, Monkey's character and how she's going to fight later. And I probably will get into this a lot more when she actually kind of eventually, hopefully, doesn't die. Like, let's hope she actually doesn't die in this actual, like, kind of manga. Because if she does, I'll be disappointed. But you never know. You never know. So, yeah. I don't think she will overpower Rabbit, though. That's the only other thing I don't think she will do. But you never know. You just never know in these contexts. Granted, I actually kind of said that about Chicken, but she died. But alas, anyway. So, with all that said, I've indeed been a driver. If you have enjoyed what I've been doing in this stream, then do leave a like, because indeed it does help quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to stay a little bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help quite a bit. I do apologize, I actually did muck up certain words I was actually reading. I actually had no sleep last night, so I'm kind of drifting into the conscious and unconscious territory of, like, I don't even know, like, kind of the plane of existence. It's a weird concept, but I'm kind of drifting in between it. It's actually kind of painful. But anyway, until later with Sun Guards in the Line and also Ancient Magus Bride, I shall see you guys later. Bye for now.